Okay, I guess you can hear me here. This is going to be a practice RNAV 27 at San Diego. Got a request from a friend of mine to fly an RNAV approach with the 747 here in Microsoft Flight Sim. I'm going to do a real short flight from Tijuana all the way nonstop to San Diego, California, about 20 miles to the north. Probably drive it in a shorter amount of time than you can fly it. I'm using the Salty Mod 747 here. The default should be pretty much the same. I don't know how this airplane and the avionics in it's going to respond to the RNAV approach, but we'll hope for the best. So what I want to do first is get up the charts here. To get approach plates for San Diego, go to RNAV.com. Just do a search for KSAN RNAV, and we'll find the approach plates down at the bottom here. And let's pick this RNAV RNP Zulu runway 27. Let's take a look at this. So Tijuana's kind of down here. It's off the chart. What we're going to do is we're going to take off out of Tijuana runway 27, and we're going to climb to 8,000 feet, and it's going to give ourselves plenty of time. Go out here over the ocean, maybe vector around a little bit in heading mode, and then we'll vector ourselves right back in, and we're going to load up the approach here on the ground and get everything set up so we're not doing a lot in the air. And we're going to fly this approach. At some point, we're going to choose direct Cloman, descend to 6,000 feet, 210 knots max. And we're going to let the autopilot fly this. We'll see if we get that descent path showing correctly on our PFD. And come around here. And these are our minimum altitudes we can fly here. 4,800 feet, then this segment 3,700. Come down here, say 3,200 feet, and all the way to Rebo, which is the final approach fix. We're going to cross Rebo at 2,000 feet and descend on a 3.5 degree glide path, as you can see right down here. It's a little bit higher than most airports. Inbound approach course is 275, landing runway 7590, so not a heck of a lot of runway to play with for a 747, but they do it in real life, so we can most certainly do it here. I have just no weather loaded in, just clear skies, no winds, 2992 on the altimeter. And our missed approach is climbed to 2,500 feet, track 275 to Sargs, which is here, and hold. These are our frequencies, which we're not really going to be using. And this is airport layout, 9,400 feet, but with a displaced threshold, it's going to be 7,590. Down here we have our vertical guidance. And that little lightning bolt there represents our final approach fix. Authorization required. Well, we would need that in real life. We'd need, if we worked for an airline, we'd have to do this approach in the simulator and get signed off for it, yada yada. So we'll be referring back to this, although once we get it set up, we shouldn't need the chart once we're flying it if we set everything up in the aircraft correctly. We're going to fly the plane slowly. We're not going to speed, probably 220 knots. maximum, just to give ourselves some time. So let's hope for the best here, and we're set up here on the ramp at Tijuana. So I'm starting from a cold and dark state, and it's been a while since I've flown this airplane. So first thing I want to do, let's load up the plane here. I'm going to take very little fuel, probably. That's good enough. Yeah, 80,000 pounds of fuel will do it. Have a max landing weight, empty weight. No, it's not giving me that. But let's load it up with about 50% payload, and that should do it for that. Okay, first thing, turn on the flashlight here. Starting to get dark around these parts. Battery on. Standby power auto. And do I have a, oh, I have a pad over here. If it, you know what, forget the external power, just going to start the APU right away. Alright, I guess that did it. Just turn all our lights up. I don't know too much about this airplane. I don't fly it often, hardly at all. Okay, APU's available. Bring both these on. Set up my IRSs, engine controls are all norm set. Here, keep those on. Hydraulic pumps, those will come to life once the engines are started. And over here, let's turn our fuel pumps on. I don't think I have any fuel in the center there. None of this works except for that APU bleed, which should be on. I'm just going to turn the engine bleeds on now. I don't know if that's correct, but do that. Nav light on, logo light on, and that's good for the overhead now. I wonder if I could get up the electric. There's no electrics page. There's a fuel page. There's a flight control page. No info. There's a gear page. Doors. No hydraulics. So let's just keep that on engine for now. Alright, let's set up the old FMS. Can I get rid of these yokes? There you go. Okay, database looks good. Position initialization, we're at MMTJ. Matching our GPS position, plug that in there. Now this is very important to initialize this position correctly, or else the airplane may wander a bit. MMTJ and KSAN. Okay, I'm just going to put one fix in here for a route. Let's put in Mission Bay MZB, and it's this one. Okay, departure arrival page. We're going to be departing here 27. We're not going to use this SID. And then here in San Diego, arrive at San Diego. We're going to use the RNAV 27 Zulu. And remember, Cloman is our first fix, initial approach fix, so that's what we want to choose up here. Now go back to our legs page, and I want to leave this discontinuity in there. We may not even get the Mission Bay, we might just be going direct to Cloman. Make sure all of the RNAV fixes are in there. Alright. That looks good for now. Let's go to our performance. Oh, there's one thing I want to do here. And it's not going to do it until we have our IRSs aligned. Does this pad work? I guess not. Alright. Okay, let's go to performance. Reserves 10. Cruise altitude is going to just be 8,000 feet. Cost index 35%. Everything else looks good there. Okay, I don't think this function works. When I change the climb settings, I don't even, let me see if I can set a flex temperature in there. I don't think I can. I can, but it doesn't seem to change this takeoff. We'll just go with this 85%. We're real light, so go with this 85% N1, and we'll select climb 1 there. I don't know if that makes any difference with this model, but we'll go with it. Takeoff, let's take off with 10 degrees of flap. Okay, CG is 8.7, which, okay, that's gonna, I don't know if that's supposed to match up, 8.7, the trim value there, but I'll tell you what, let's just keep this trim value at 7. Hope we can rotate. Alright, now is this, oh good. Well, at least we got V speeds. Let's see what page 2 gives us. Okay, we're going to use an acceleration and thrust reduction of 1,500 feet. 15 engine out, acceleration height's 1,000 in case we lose an engine. So that all looks good there. Those V speeds should show up on the tape here. Okay, whatever that V2 speed was here. .172 V2, I'm going to set that in my speed window. Runway heading here at Tijuana is 266. I'm just going to fly runway heading on departure. Put that in. Okay, my IRSs are up, so let's bring this into plan mode. And now you should see. Okay. Now in plan mode, I can review my the fixes on with the FMS. So if I hit step, it's Cloman. So everything's in there. That's what the RNAV approach should look like. Back at SARS. Okay, that looks good. Bring this back into map mode. Yeah, well, we're really close to that airport. That's okay. We'll give ourselves time. Vector out. Get the weather radar up. If anyone's standing in front of the plane, they'll get fried. Okay, go across here to bring the flight directors up. That should bring up Toga, Toga. That's what it should read for takeoff. Toga, Toga, once we bring those up. Climb to 8,000 feet. Okay, down here, set the altimeter, which is 2992. Alright, let's set things down here. We're VFNR, so we'll just keep that on 1200. Seatbelt sign on. That don't work. Okay, everything looks like it's set. So let's start the engines. Beacon on. All this is on. Fuel pumps clear on both sides. Let's take one more look at the airplane from the outside. That beacon light's really weak. They gotta improve that a little bit. I can see the one on the bottom there. Let's see if our nav lights. Yeah, the nav lights are weak too. Oof, boy, this airplane needs a lot of improvement. Alright. We'll start 3, 4, 2, 1. Open the starter valve there. And right away, run. And it goes through its auto start sequence. There should be a switch for auto start up here. Alright, I don't know where that is. But the engine's starting the way we want it, so it's all good. One thing I need to do, forgot to do this. Program, I have my controls set up for the 747. All right, that's good. It's just one more thing I want to check. I want to check what I set up for. I forget what you call that in there. Let's see. Auto throttle to go around. Okay, that's what we want. All right. Number 4 engine. Well, auto start sequence. That's good for that, and let's start number 1. A lot of engines on this airplane. There we go. And auto start. Starter cycle's done, this turns green. Alright. First thing we do after engine start is turn off the APU bleed and turn the APU gens off, APU off. And then once again, I just go down my flow check here, make sure I don't have any off symbols. Engine hydraulics are on, fuel pumps are all set, window heat, turn that on low. That's all good, none of these buttons work. It's all set. And continuing the flow checks down here. Flight instruments are set all the way across here. Autopilot is set. Turn this to reject a takeoff. And check the flight controls. Left, center, right, center. Forward, back, rudder. checked. Speed brake down, up. Back to engine display, flaps set to 10 degrees. All right. Taxi lights, runway turn off lights on. And let's move this big sucker. Do I want to go left or right here? Let's go left. Turn it on the ground like a big airplane, which means drive into the turn. Because the middle of the plane's 75 feet behind you, at least. We should get clearance over there. Good. That looks nice. Okay, I don't quite know where. Oh, well, we missed that taxiway. Let's back taxi on the runway. There's nobody around. And then we'll get off at Bravo and take Alpha. So if we get up the map. That was too tight to make that turn. So we'll take this down here and we'll get off it. This looks like Bravo, and then we'll go down Alpha to the end. Now, for all intents and purposes, this is a default airplane, even though I have the Salty mod on here. So a bunch of stuff either doesn't work or doesn't work correctly. I probably flew this airplane once or twice since I got the simulator, so I don't really know how it's going to respond to certain stimuli, but in any case, I'm always going to be prepared to disconnect the autopilot and hand fly the airplane if it's not doing what I want it to do, especially during the takeoff roll and climb out. other thing I remember, I think in these 747-800s, you arm LNAV and VNAV after takeoff. I'm sorry, before takeoff. And they should be in armed mode down there. White underneath toga. Before entering the active runway, bring the strobes on and the wings. I hold off on the landing lights till I'm actually cleared for takeoff. Taking the active, cleared for takeoff, cleared across the line, and there's no traffic in the area. Actually going to do a standing start. Where's my clock? Alright, I don't know where the clock is, so screw it. I will normally start my time there. Landing lights on. Auto throttle armed. Run the power up to about 50%. Make sure all 4 engines are coming up evenly. That's good. Push my power up towards 85%. I press toga. Thrust ref comes on. And I'm rolling. Airspeed's alive. Back there on me, shouldn't be doing that. Looks like the auto throttles don't really work too well.
V1.
Rotate. Smooth pitch up to about 10 degrees. Positive rate gear up. And I want to pitch to about, those bars should be coming up there about 15 degrees. Follow the flight director bars there. And make it easier, I'm just going to bring the autopilot on now. Whoop. Okay. Looks like it's accelerating. This should come back to climb thrust. I don't know why it's not, but I'll set climb thrust myself. Flaps up. Okay, that was a little squirrely. Those flight director bars kind of... The VNAV doesn't fly the plane very smoothly. Deal with it. You know what? It's auto throttle. Okay, I'll do the after takeoff check here, which I guess in this plane there's not much to do. I'm going to leave all these lights on since we'll be landing soon. Auto brake, looks like that turned itself off. Gear up, flaps up. That intercepted that altitude a little too abruptly, but at least it intercepted it. Let's bring the range out a little. Now, we do at some point want to go to Cloman. That's way back there. Let's fly a northerly heading. Pretend as though we're getting vectored around. Numbers. The way get the VREF, go to init ref and go to approach, and these two numbers here, 162, and I'm going to land with flaps 30 because we've got kind of a short runway. So you down select that, put that right in there. Now that 162 will show up on your speed tape, and that's the ref we want to fly on approach. San Diego. Guess that's La Jolla up in there. Okay, so since we're going to cross Cloman at 6,000, let's go down to 6,000 now. Select 6,000. It down. Auto brake for landing. Let's select a kind of high number, 3. And my speed brake is armed. On our chart, Cloman is 210 knots maximum, so I'm actually going to fly 190 knots by the time I reach Cloman. Okay, and I have no idea what this airplane's doing now. Heading, filch speed. Yeah, see, it's not... Airplane's not really doing what it should be doing here. Let's just use vertical speed to get down. Slow to 190. down some flap. This airplane doesn't want to come down. Okay, now I'm going to select direct decloment on here. Press enter, bring it to LNAV mode. Now, I believe we need VNAV. We need VNAV mode engaged. Let's see what that brings. It should bring us to 6,000 feet. That is really sloppy. Oh, I see what we need here. That's should be 90 knots. 6,000. Okay, if I use VNAV, it's not going to let me dial on the speed. Okay, in order to use this, we need speeds dialed in to use it in VNAV. Let's just see if... Okay, Jade is our next point, and I'm allowed down to... 5,200 feet. Slow up even more. See if I can filch it down. Gosh. Target 4,800. Can't seem to slow this plane down either. It's been 20 degrees of flat out. Okay, next fix is... At 3,700 feet. Yeah, this airplane does a piss poor job of tracking anything. Look at this. It's terrible. It's not coming down. It should be coming down when I roll. So let's hand fly it. This autopilot's not going to fly. Just follow these flight director here. I think that's about the best way it's going to happen. Select approach. Flight director seems to be working fine, but that autopilot was not. terrible model of an airplane. But you always have the flight director here you can use. Just fly that flight director and that'll keep you on your course. Okay, so see the glide path is up there? That means this is going to follow the glide path. You know what? Let's try to turn the autopilot back on, see if it flies it. See, already it's going high. This is what this mode screen should look like. Speed, FAC, and GP when you're flying in RNAV approach. Okay, final checks. Gears down. Head locked. Auto brake set. Flaps are full. Speed brakes armed. Autopilot's kind of doing an okay job now. Runway right in the middle of the screen and fly to it.
400.
If the runway's moving around in the screen, you have an unstable approach.
300. 200 minimums.
Throttle off. Wasn't too pretty, but get the point. Autopilot doesn't fly the airplane very well in tight turns during an RNAV approach like that. Flaps up. Wow, we have external power. Look at that. Alright, I think my seatbelt sign's still on. Lift them up. Let's connect the jetway. Now let's do all these. Anti-collision light. Beacon is off. Let's remove this stuff. All right. Well, this isn't a very precise airplane. It looks great, hey, but I think this is just kind of a airplane for tooling around, not flying serious RNAV approaches coupled with the autopilot. It's way too squirrely, and probably, someone's got to develop a study level one of these. Now, if I would have flown this with the Phoenix A320 or the PMDG 737, it would have gone superbly, but unfortunately not this airplane. And it sucks too, because it's a really beautiful airplane. Um, so that concludes this very haphazard tutorial.